You're tuned in to Game Chopping TV. Hip-hop media, real-world news, live video games, all chopped up in one place. We break down albums, talk culture, stream the hottest titles, and hit the streets for the stories that...
What it do? Welcome to another one over here at Game Chopping TV. Tap in, like, comment, and subscribe because we are chopping this game over here, man. I had to tap into this one, man. So, ever since a couple of days ago, you know what I'm saying, about a day or two ago or so, that man, 21 Savage, the rapper 21 Savage, on his social media account, he made a post that said, F the streets, I want $1 billion, you know, and, you know, okay, and, so far, you know, you've had people responding, you know, different rappers and stuff, things like that, responding to that, like Boosie for one. You know, he made a pretty long post, but the main point of his was to say, you know, if you feel like that, don't be rapping about that street stuff. You know, rap about college, fruits, you know, tuition, things like that. Let me see, who else? You had Meek Mill to speak up on it. You know, he's like, yo, if you're not feeding the streets, helping the streets out, wherever you're not, you know, you shouldn't even really be speaking on it. You know, so, you know, you got people who's like, what? You know, of course you got some that, you know, agree, but then you got some that's like, what are you talking about, man? Waka Flocka, he responded, and he just like, you know, he's not going to say F the thing that made him who he is now. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely understandable. And 21 Savage has even responded since then and kind of like retracted what he said. Was on some stuff like save the streets. He didn't mean to say F the streets. He was saying, he meant to say save the streets. That would make more sense, I guess, you know. And, you know, I guess my take on that is, well, I understand where he going with it because, you know, the streets is, you know, kind of associated with a lot of negativity. You get to talk about the streets. You know, you expect the shiesty, the negativity, all that kind of stuff from the streets, different things like that. And, you know, he just said F it all, you know. And I think he could, you know, well, I guess he probably didn't expect an outlet, you know, backlash from different people with him stating that. But, you know, he just didn't, I guess, I'm not saying, I don't know, he said what he said. I feel like he just didn't clear up everything, you know, because I see what he's trying, you know, he just threw it all away, is what he did, instead of, you know, maybe being more clear, which he probably didn't mean to be more clear at that moment. He meant F it all. But see, you got to realize, too, and a lot of people, you know, look over this, and maybe rightfully so, but 21 Savage is not from America like that. You know what I'm saying? I think you can look it up, he was born in, like, England, London, and stuff like that. They tried to deport him not too long ago. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how long he's actually even been in America like that, and, you know, who in Atlanta is giving him, you know, who okayed him to feel like he, you know, I guess he's been out there in the streets of Atlanta with some people or something. I'm not sure, but he comes from like London or something. And one thing somebody said too that's serious. That's like honestly though, like that cross on his forehead is a tattoo. Like R.I.P. Gonzo, he said something about it, you know, a couple of years ago before he passed. He's like, I don't know any street cats. You know, no hood cats, no gangsters, whatever you want to call it, gangbangers or anything, that out of all tattoos, they got a cross in the middle of their forehead. You know what I'm saying? That's, like, I don't know who else may have seen it before, but I hadn't. I hadn't seen that before either. Like, where they do that at? Then you come to find out he's from London and stuff, so it's, that's what that is there. Not to say that he didn't come to the States and get down with some Atlanta cats that respected him and felt like, hey, we're rocking with you. I don't know, but I look at that, I take that in consideration too, that he's from London, you know what I'm saying? But he knows he's been out here long enough. As black people, we're accepting to everybody, so a lot of people come around us, feel like they know the game or learned the game enough, then they walk away and get to talking down on it, basically. Because we, like I said, we're so open arms to everybody, and that's him, that's my brother, that's my homeboy, oh, that's my nigga, and all that, and but it's not authentic. It's not authentic, really. But and they'll, of course, these other people, they'll accept the welcoming. Like I say, then once they feel like they know enough, they go off, and then they get to talking crazy about the same people who really accepted them. So. You got a lot of that. You got to watch out. Like, that's how a lot of foreigners are. A lot of people that just come amongst black people anyway. White people. You get a white person around you long enough, or anybody that's not black. Bring them around you long enough. Get them comfortable, which they won't do with their people, and their people won't do it. But we've been guilty of this, which hopefully we'll be smart enough to stop in the future. But you bring them around as you teach them all the slang. Hey, yeah, they don't even know what the stuff mean. Oh yeah, no, when he says that, he means you literally had to tell people. No. When he said that, he meant so and so and so. You've seen movies of him. No, that meant so and so. We sit up here teaching them all this stuff that we shouldn't probably have, because once they felt like they was comfortable enough and knew the slang, knew somewhat of what we dress, wear, which they still don't know it, but they think they do. We see now, they know. You give them a little bit, they run with it and think they know it all, and it'd be looking stupid, and then they still sneak amongst you. Hey, what does that mean? Huh? What is that? And then some, oh no, that means so and so. No, we need to stop all that, because this is what happens. They learn enough, or they learn what they think is enough, to when they feel like they don't need you anymore, or they just learn enough and run off and feel like they know enough and then talk crazy about you because they think they know you or know everything that you do and going on. And maybe this is one of those kind of situations. They brought him in down to Atlanta, whoever he was hanging around with, got him, boom, he feels accepted, boom, he becomes a rapper, and all that, because a lot of them people from out of the country, they really study us in the, way we do. Boom, he becomes the rapper. Now, he don't need them no more. I don't know if any of them he brought along with him or not, or whatever, but boom, don't need them no more. Boom, got money now, boom, off, F the streets. You know what I'm saying? So he wasn't he didn't really come from that anyway. He came from London. You know what I'm saying? So, people don't check backgrounds and stuff. Everybody think everybody black. You know what I'm saying? Like us, like black Americans anyway. Good Lord, that's what's happening now. That's why, stuff happens and you're like, what? That don't make no sense. What? Yeah, shit. What you think? So, that's a good possibility there. But a lot of people spoke their piece. Me, myself, my take on it is, I definitely don't feel like, F the streets. Now, there's things that, go on the streets that we can work on, not making it be so associated with it. Like, for example, stealing, being violent, hurting people, which that's not all that comes with the streets, but that's that's some stuff you can, run into on the streets or be a part of on the streets. So, I don't feel like it shouldn't be glorified. It shouldn't be something to aspire to go to. You know what I'm saying? If you're from it, and you going up in it, and you don't think nothing of it anyway. You know what I'm saying? When you in it, you know what I'm saying? So, but if that's the case, we're just trying to get further, and and at that, some people in the streets know how to keep BS separate from business. So it's like you can't put everybody in one pot. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people that's on the streets, might need just a little bit of help. I mean, so it's not like it's saying the streets. That's just one category. Because who are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Who are you talking about? Like, so as far as F the streets, I mean, if you're just talking about like the hood, the blocks, stuff like that. I mean, and just looking at that as the destination to be all day, stuff like that. I mean, hey, it's somewhere to go sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, if who knows who might have to go back to the streets and depend on what some street activities may have to offer. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest. I mean, I don't know. Maybe when your bread is up as far as his, you could think you don't feel like you'll ever see the streets again or something like that. But I definitely wouldn't just throw it all away because it's so much potential there. It's yeah, it's just so much potential there. And I can't say there like it's somewhere that I'm far away from. I mean, that's to say, it's just to say, like, what are you saying? Like, who are you talking about? Are you talking about a hood? Whose hood? The streets. I guess just the mindset of viewing the streets in a certain way. But like I say, I don't feel like F it, but I just it's nothing to glorify, to try to tell someone, hey, yeah, come on, let's do this. This is where we need to be. No, try to figure out a way to get further than that and out of that, because a lot of it can lead to trouble, but it's so vague how it's being put, like, so, I mean, like, the neighborhood that I'm from, the area that I'm from, I wouldn't say screw it, because it's like a lot of people did say, it's taught me a lot, it's made me who I am, actually, so I wouldn't dare say screw it, because I have an appreciation for it, on a lot of the good and bad things it may have brought me through. So I'm not going to say screw it, but as Black Americans, anyway, we need reparations, and so we shouldn't necessarily have to be on the streets or depend on the streets. I mean, but I think that's a whole nother fight right there that, and he don't really know, what to say or the right thing. Because if it was, what helps Black Americans as a whole and what will help Black Americans as a whole is reparations. He needs to be speaking on something like that instead of talking about some F the streets. Because, a lot of the people on the streets are people who are oppressed. The Black Americans especially. So, but that's my take on it. I just feel like we could start that conversation, but we need to be talking about reparations. That's what's going to help the streets. Most of the people that's in the streets. Not most of them, but a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the times, the streets are just Black people's neighborhoods. What people are considering the streets are just Black Americans' neighborhoods. That's underfunded. No resources around or nothing. So that's more of reparations talk for me, man. Instead of saying F the streets, because like I say, everybody in the streets ain't, trying to harm you, hurt you, Yeah, some, yeah. You ain't got to be in the streets for that. You go to the grocery store somewhere, and you never know who will be trying to, white dude might be mad just because you're Black and try to come at you. I mean, come on. Anybody. So, like I say, we could, when we go that route talking about the streets, no, it's not F the streets. Because if we're going to talk about the streets, a lot of the people in the streets are my people, and I know what my people need, reparations. That's what's going to help us as a whole. It ain't going to be a thing of, just one person getting lucky and making it out, like a 21 Savage or somebody, He got lucky, made enough money, now he's able to leave the people who don't got it behind in the so-called streets, which is just a regular Black neighborhood, but it's called the hood, then it's called the streets. So, but would help that reparations. So it's nothing hard. It's nothing hard to figure out. Talk about the right things that make sense. That'll help everybody. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, it's another one over here at Game Chopping TV, though, man. That's where I stand on it. If we're gonna talk about it, what's gonna help the streets? Reparations. What's gonna help my people in the streets? Reparations. Yeah. So y'all let me know what y'all think, though, man. It's another one over here at Game Chopping TV. Tap in, like, comment, and subscribe, because we are chopping this game over here, man.